Welcome to A Live. I'm Andrew Volpe, and I am here today with Lindsey Buchanan to talk about social video. Lindsey, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
We're going to talk about social video. I'm good.
Good.
We're going to talk about social video. It is the big trend right now, particularly Facebook Live. You saw Chewbacca Mom, obviously.
I did.
Freak
Watched
out in
it a
Nicole's
few
parking lot.
times.
Why is Facebook Live so Facebook Live right now?
Because it's awesome.
Okay, fair
Because
enough.
the videos like Chewbacca and stuff. But I think it's something that right now, since everybody is on Facebook and you have this, huge, massive audience, that your video can reach anybody, and anybody right now can have their 15 seconds or 15 minutes
Right.
of fame, which is why Chewbacca Mom was already on James Corden and other things, and she's just kind of riding the wave. But I think with Facebook Live in particular, it's the fact, again, the massive reach, but also just the authenticity and stuff with it, that everything is truly live. It's not, it's not
Right.
contrived. It's not YouTube. You can't just record yourself a million times and chop up the video and put it all together and
So it's
this
this
is me.
great, Facebook Live is this great combination of, you get the live, authentic, this is happening now, sort of, no safety net, plus the platform that everybody's already on.
Yeah.
So everyone's already there, which is a great place to start, plus now it's all happening live.
Yeah, and I think it's just there's an emergence. Like before, social video was more just like viral videos. Anybody could create a video and put it on all these social channels, and now I think the definition has changed a little bit. Social meaning like we're social with our audience. And usually that's why the YouTube influencers after will have like a commenting on comments, and they'll look at all their comments
Right.
and then they'll respond to them. And now they can actually do that in real time.
Because and what's cool about live is that that's how we have evolved as human beings in interacting with each other. We're not used to posting things on places and then going back and reading them.
Yeah, and I think this just adds that extra layer again of authenticity. So like you can't go back and just really think about what you're gonna say
Right.
and comment back. It's just the real dynamic, interaction between two people or, one person and millions of people.
And so the platform's blowing up. What exactly are people posting on Facebook Live? I mean, is it all just moms in Cole's parking lots with Chewbacca masks, or
No, I don't think so.
what does it lend itself to?
I think it lends itself to a lot of things, to live events, to things like BuzzFeed a couple weeks ago, or maybe like a month ago, wrapped a bunch of rubber bands around a giant watermelon for about like an hour.
The tension was palpable.
800,000 people tuned in to watch this watermelon explode. It was kind of like the old science experiments, with vinegar and
Right.
it over, just there, and it's like, in 2 seconds, there you go. You just waited on the edge of your seat for that, but it was really cool. And I
Right.
think, if you were watching that for half an hour on the edge of your seat, and you were like at work, right, and you got up to go to the bathroom and you came back and you missed it, and everybody else saw it in real
There it
time,
went. It just
like
blew up right now.
that would suck. It's like
Right.
even though you could watch it again, you just missed it in the moment.
Right.
And
Well, another cool thing about that video in particular is that I think it highlights something that's very interesting about live content, which is it's not front-loaded, where you're waiting for viewers to arrive. So you start a live stream, and then the longer you wait, in theory, if it's this building crescendo of excitement, the more people you're going to get, the more viewers you're
yeah,
going to get.
and then it's like it's better be good. Otherwise, I'm never going to tune in again.
Right.
Not really, but like, I think the thing is, what is your message, right? If you're building up to something, I think you should wait for viewers and stuff, but I also think it matters what you're building up to. So like, for instance, for Microsoft and Xbox, we had a go at it, and we had Major Nelson, who's like the influencer for Xbox, go on Facebook Live and introduce that we're gonna be having the briefing for E3.
Right.
And it was just a 2-minute video, just him with his phone. Hey guys, I'm Major Nelson. This is how you can tune in. And then he took his phone, he put it on his computer, told people how they can, sign up for things and look at things. And it was super jittery and stuff, but it was him, and it performed really, really well. It exceeded expectations, and it was really simple.
And why? Is it sort of the novelty of, oh my God, this is happening live?
Yes and no. I can't say. I think that's kind of a personal preference for that.
Right.
But I think that, I think also Facebook Live is super new. So when everybody gets that notification and stuff, they're like, whoa, what's so cool that I have to tune in right now?
Right.
But I think, to the point of building anticipation and kind of waiting and stuff and waiting for people to tune in with the video, like the Major Nelson video, you weren't waiting for a whole moment, so you didn't have to necessarily wait for all, it was only 2 minutes long, right? So you're not
Right.
gonna just, he's not just gonna like chill there for like 5 minutes and be like, okay, another 100 viewers, another, you know. That's a totally different kind of video, you know? And I think that a lot of times, like, what are you gonna broadcast? You don't wanna necessarily broadcast yourself, you know, cooking something, because it takes a long time to cook something. That's why the YouTubers chop things up and, you know, get it going. But I think
Right.
it's capturing something totally in the moment, something unique and spontaneous.
What we were talking earlier about YouTubers. The YouTubers spent what 10, 12 years sort of. A lot of people got in very early. Thank you for that. 10 years. A lot of people got in early, and they sort of solidified themselves as early influencers. And then and you know, while it's been harder to sort of crack that nut for a lot of people who are aspiring to be influencers, it sort of feels like they figured out how to YouTube. Does Facebook Live lend itself to these people, to these influencers, or is it a more difficult platform for them?
I think it's going to be harder to break through. I think when YouTube started and all the influencers and stuff started, they were just experimenting. I mean, Lisa Nova, or Lisa Donovan is her name, who's the head of Maker Studios. She was one of the first YouTube influencers back in 2006. And she was just videoing herself like on a bus, just like going to work, doing whatever. But it just kind of blew up because they're like, wow, this girl just has balls. She's just like putting herself in front of it.
Authentic, right?
Yeah, but then I think as YouTubers and stuff started to do more and more, like Grace Helbig is a great example, who started on My Damn Channel. Now she's like a bona fide celebrity on YouTube, you know, billboards everywhere. But she started out just doing something really simple, a show called Daily Grace, where she literally just sat in her chair and talked to the camera. But you can tell that she probably had like an idea of what she was going to talk about, but she recorded herself probably about 5 or 10 times and then chopped up, you know, her best moments and her me moments and the things that were like the cutest and stuff, like her quirkiness that came out naturally. And then with that, she kind of crafted her own persona, which again, these people are very authentic because they're real or whatever, but they're also a little...
Well, it's interesting because I think when you put content out into the universe, to be able to either see how your audience reacts or to see it yourself and to do that iterative process over and over again, you start to realize who you are as a personality or a performer, and that starts to inform what you do. And I think it's interesting that they could sort of curate, early YouTubers and YouTubers in general, the influencers can curate who they are till they get a better sense of who they are. With live, however, it's you are who you are right now. So either you're really good at consistently being the personality you are, or you know, perhaps you won't do as well on Facebook Live.
Yeah, it's being totally raw. You know, and you can't, again, with YouTube, you can go and edit. With Facebook Live, you can't. So you either have to be super comfortable with the camera, or you just have to experiment. You know, you have to go into this uncharted territory and just try things out and learn from it and realize, you know what, I don't really think this is for me, or like, yeah, I want to do this and stuff. And I think there's a lot of encouragement. Like the more people you see starting to, I mean, I'll admit, I've done it once, I think, with some coworkers and stuff. But even when like 2 people were tuning in and I've only been broadcasting for 30 seconds and it's just my coworkers, I'm like, yes,
I'll rush,
like, yeah. It's exciting and I had nothing to say. And it's not like you're on TV or the tons of people are watching, but you're like, why are you watching me right now? Like, why do you even care?
I think it's important for any brands or just people who are interested in testing the waters with Facebook Live, however precious there may be pressure to be on YouTube, that's just not there. In fact, the lower the quality, you're trading in lower the quality for more authenticity, and that's actually really valuable. It's sort of what makes live video important.
Well, yeah, I mean, anybody likes someone that's just a little bit more real than, you know, people that aren't.
The fake people.
Yes.
Androids. Most are androids.
Well, I mean, but that's why brands were flocking to YouTube influencers and Instagram influencers and stuff, because their audiences follow them because they feel more real. And I think Facebook Live is going to open up a lot of doors for that. I think people, though, are going to become, instead of being influencers, they're going to be personalities.
Right. So Snapchat seems to be slightly lower stakes than Facebook Live.
Yeah.
In the sense that you have the option to not post. It may be authentic and happening in the moment, but then you can say, you know what, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't really like this.
Although we have no choice. This is happening. This all goes out,
it's
and
live.
you didn't know that I was going to
Life.
do this thing to my
Real
forehead. It doesn't make sense,
time.
but it's happening. You can't stop it.
Unfortunately.
But Snapchat, you have the option to not. So it's
Yes.
lower risk, but perhaps less authenticity.
Yeah, no, I still think there's total authenticity and rawness with Snapchat. It's just with Snapchat, yes, you have the opportunity to, I could record you a few times and you could be doing your own impression of Chewbacca stuff, but I have the option to record it again if you didn't do, well at that. And so
Right.
I think that's the difference, but I think you since you can't edit it, you can't Facetune a picture on
Right.
a Snap, or any of that, you can just add emojis or text or something. That's where the realness, the authenticity comes. And I think people are more willing to experiment on that because it just goes away in 24 hours.
Right.
And you don't really care who sees it, and that's the kind of point of it.
Well, that sort of, it lowers the threshold because there are lower stakes in terms of, well, it'll disappear in 24 hours, and it's also...
Or you can delete it.
Or you can delete it, right. As opposed to Facebook Live, where there's no net. What about Periscope?
So Periscope was all the rage last year, and I think because it's owned by Twitter and stuff too.
Are you over it now?
I'm kind of over it. I've been a little bit over it. I'm so into
It's
Facebook
sad.
Live now.
But why was it so cool last year, and is it still cool?
Because it was the first live platform to really break through, and I think because they had Twitter's backing and stuff, and influencers or personalities were able to leverage their Twitter audience to get their video out, it really just went to the head of the curve and beat out Meerkat and Hang With and other platforms that are out there. But I think it's struggling a little bit, I think, because I think it needs a larger platform. Yes, you can stream it on Twitter. It can go through Twitter and you can see it on your desktop and stuff, but I think that, I don't know, Facebook Live has a wider reach, but I do like the idea of just being able to comment and again, in real time. But I think the advantage of Periscope is and it may be like this for Facebook Live later on, but if you're, at the Olympics or a big sporting event or something like that, everybody that's on Periscope, yeah, it's mobile, but everybody that's at that event can actually record it, in real time,
Right.
and have that hashtag. So if you're not there, you can look up that hashtag or that subject, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I have 50 different views of this concert.
Right.
And then I can pick and choose what I want to watch. And I think that's something that is big, but I also think it might cause a little bit of a problem. There were problems.
With copyrighted content.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think that's everybody's reevaluating everything like they do every time a new technology or a new platform
Everyone
comes
scrambles
out.
to figure out how to catch up and how to make it make sense, and people want to sue people.
Because people that have exclusive rights to broadcast some of these things, which is why television is TV's good and all, but they really capitalize on these live events and stuff because if they don't allow people to stream online, you can only watch it here, and they don't want people cutting into their cut,
Right.
Of that. And so I think it becomes a bigger problem. But I think with the emergence of Facebook Live and all these other platforms, it's just, I think we're going to find a workaround.
Wait, you're fighting the storm, just like every industry has done when the internet screws over their profit source. It's like when people freaked out about Napster. They tried to stop. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to go with the flow
You
and
can
figure out how to make it happen.
but-
What just before we say goodbye, what is on the horizon for social video? What comes next?
I think there's going to be a lot of,
Robots.
well, obviously
Okay.
drones.
Besides
and all that stuff.
drones and robots.
It's just we're gonna have
Terminators.
this view. No, I think there's gonna be a lot of third-party apps that interject and will give you, and I'm sure Facebook and Periscope will eventually integrate this, but I think they might find a way to make more money, do it different. But being able to insert graphics and lower thirds and low production value for everyday people that don't have other people that can do that.
Right,
for
would that
them.
be in the form of hardware or software? Or?
I think it's software, but I also think there will be hardware. In fact, there's a camera that just came out called the Meebo Camera that was announced at CES. I think it's coming out in late July. But it's a camera that can go on any tripod, and I think it captures 360 and a panoramic view. So if you are, I think the example is if you're having a cooking show and there's 3 different people cooking.
I see it right now.
Yeah, so you can actually frame all those things and get all these different points
Blow
of
it out.
view.
Whoa.
And then you essentially become your own television director. How cool is that? I know it's your lifelong dream.
Cut to 4.
Yeah.
No, give me a wide. Give me a wide. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's already, is that available in the market?
It's available for pre-order. It's a couple $100, but I think it's a really good investment. It also has a little light on the top that will show when you're live and when you're not. But I think it's something like that when we were talking about the events and stuff with Periscope, Like you will be able to go there and even if you miss Coachella or if you miss wherever, you know, you'll be able to see everything as the viewer, but then as another, I actually see it, and I don't know if this will happen, so don't, you know, if it does happen, awesome. But like, if you and I would be able to actually join in on a group broadcast.
Right.
Like that would be really cool. And then we have the different, and then there's maybe one person on their mobile that's actually directing it, that's pushing the feed out and deciding it. Because right now on live, you can't just move everything around. It's too staticky or whatever. So I think it's going to have to kind of focus in on these things. And I think, again, the hardware and the software is just going to improve to integrate.
Well, Meebo, it looks really cool. I mean, if that's, that future looks far less terrifying than the one Kai laid out last week with the bots taking over. So social video, I'm a fan. I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch you live on Facebook.
I can't wait either. I'm just gonna do it right now. We're on Facebook Live right now. Except now we're not gonna be anymore. Thank you so much, Lindsey.
Thank you.
Amazing, as always. Live, thanks for watching, and good luck with all your stuff.